So guys, welcome to Fix It Daniel, and today we got something special for you. We're gonna get this bike running. We're gonna be taking it out for a spin, getting it started up for you guys, and I'm gonna show you what I've been doing off camera for this thing to get this thing running. So let us get into it. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. The reason why I'm so super high pumped today is because we're going to be getting this thing running. We're going to be taking it for a spin. If you've seen the thumbnail, we're going to be driving this thing as well. So we are going to be talking about what we've done so far. I've been doing a lot of stuff off camera from the previous video, and there's a reason why, and I'm going to show you guys what it is. But yes, let's go take a look at the bike. We got this thing all back together. We got it all back together. We're going to start this today. I have been spending a lot of time off camera fixing this because I definitely have made a mistake. Because I saw my mistake. I saw my mistake in the last video, what I did, and I didn't show it to you guys because it just happened off camera. The bike died. It literally just stopped working. It was running for a little bit after I had tried to see what was going on with that valve ticking noise, and I did that, and I couldn't figure out what happened. But something gave me a little bit of a reason why it didn't happen, and that is because this. Look at this. This is the actual timing plate that goes over the timing sprocket and holds the cam in place and all that stuff like that. It goes into everything. This actually broke. It broke because I did a rookie mistake, and I wasn't paying attention when I was doing, and I almost did it twice when I took it apart and refixed everything. So let me show you the video of what happened, of why this looks like that, and why the bike stopped running. So you see, that's what happened in the video. It was my own fault. I forgot to tighten up the actual the bolts, the two bolts that holds that plate on with the sprocket and everything. It could have been a lot worse, but it actually wasn't that bad. It actually I had to take partial the motor apart. I thought I was gonna have to split the block, but I didn't have to split the block. I basically took everything off. I took the stator, the variator cover, everything off. The balancer, I took it all off, and the only thing was left was the crank and the block. So I took it, and it was just a little bit of metal flakes in the oil. It was a little bit of the metal. I actually ended up finding the broken bolt, which was all the way down near the oil pump chain, which I'm glad that I caught it because it could have made a whole lot more worse. It just fell down in there right next to it. I got it out. I thought I was gonna have to split the block because I couldn't find the bolt, because I know that bolt went down there somewhere, and then I found it. Took it out, and then all that was left over was just some metal flakes. So I went and got some carburetor cleaner, cleaned out all of the motor inside, got all of the metal out, redid everything, and then put it all back together. So it was everything was fine on the top end. The only thing is that the bolt that broke off in the 300's cam. So basically what we did was basically what I did was I had a spare 250 cam that was from the previous bike, because I bought brand new lifters, brand new cam and everything. So what I pretty much did was I took the 250 cam and lifters that I put in the 250 bike that I built. I took those out, and I crossed my fingers hoping that they would all fit, and they actually fit. So an actual 250 valve, lifters, and cam is the same as a 300. So it actually worked out perfectly fine. It went in nice and smooth. Everything's lined up. Everything is perfect. So we got 2 more of those 250 lifters coming in from overseas. So when they come, they will replace the 250 that's on there. And then maybe later we'll get a new cam for that. So that way we can have it so we can swap motors out without having to take everything apart to do it. We can keep the heads and everything together. All we gotta do is just change everything. So I want to have another setting the place that if I ever decide I want to go back to a 250, I can go back to a 250 and leave the 300s where they were at. But I'm super hoping that this 300 was going to work out. Everything went back together nice and good. I actually almost did the exact same thing I did wrong in that video to this one when I actually put it all back together, and I caught myself. I literally caught myself. So I caught it. I got it tightened. I got it everything good, and now I spent all the off time putting it all back together in record time fast. It was a lot faster doing it off camera. I really wanted to get to the stage of where we were at the other video where we were getting ready to start it and run it. I did all that off camera. So I just wanted to get it done quick back, and then I would just explain to you guys what happened. So yes, it is crazy. All that happened, but now the bike is all back together. I got oil, I got coolant. We're actually going to start this up for the first time. I felt bad not showing it to you guys, but it was way more faster just to figure it out because I really honestly didn't know what was the issue and cause. Actually, here's the bolt right here. So this is the bolt that broke because it was loose. It snapped. This snap piece is in the actual 300's cam, and then this is what fell down in the oil. So I found that down near the oil pump chain. Luckily it didn't get stuck in there, but I found it right next to it, and now we're good. So we are all back together, and then now this is actually hoping, crossing fingers, that this thing's gonna run. So let us get the door open, and then let's go ahead and start this thing up for the first time. I literally, honestly, have not started this up since you guys, since I've done this off camera. So I thought it would be nice to share this with you guys. I could have started it, but I didn't. So I really wanted to, I felt bad doing it off camera, but it was going to take so much time to figure out and do it, clean it, get it back together in record time. So we're going to go ahead and open the door and see what this SYM 300, not 250, 300 is going to be. All right, guys, so we're going to go ahead and open this door and see what we can hear. All right, so we're going to roll this back just a little bit. Okay. Okay, we're gonna do this. So, key on. All right, here we go. It's running. It's running. Gosh, it's running, and it runs so good. No slapping on the valves or nothing. Oh my gosh, guys, are you kidding me? This is crazy. It needs to be tuned. It needs to be tuned. Get it up there. Oh my goodness. I cannot believe that worked. Keep in mind, y'all, this is a 300 I just swapped. This was a 250. I put in a 300 and it works. Listen to how smooth it sounds. No slapping of the valves or anything. The slapping of the valves could have been just from when I didn't tighten down the cam plate thing. But it's quiet. It's just like the 250, but it sounds like it's got a lot more power than the 250, obviously. Oh my gosh, guys, I can't believe this actually worked. Guys, I cannot believe. It does need to be tuned just a little bit because I still have the same jets and stuff when I first started. So it does need to be tuned. Maybe we will go ahead and do that jet kit that I have for this. Maybe need to put a bigger jet, main jet in there. Who knows? But it's warning. So it's a little bit in between. So let's say 1500, maybe a little bit more. It does need to be tuned because when I first started, it was kind of wanting to die. But that could be. Maybe we need to go up on the main jet, on the pilot jet, just because it's a 300. Maybe it takes a little bit more of a bigger jet. I do want to try and upgrade the carburetor to more of a slide pull. I need to make sure it's going to fit though. So with a seat sits literally right over top of this, and it's probably about that much room. So the problem is that I do have the cables, but the cable's going to come and then go right on top. So the problem is the seat is sitting right on top. Now, if there's enough room, that'll be fine. But if I can find an angle that can actually, that'll actually come out and curve and then go this way, so it'd be like a U shape, like a U shape. That would be perfect. And then we can replace this carburetor with a more slide pull, and we can get more power out of the bike. So I'm thinking of getting a nib. You can be just whatever we can find. They do sell some PEKs that'll actually run a lot better. So this is a generic, the carburetor that came with it. But if we put a nib or Mikuni in there, we can get more power out of this and it'll run a lot more better. Especially when we do a cold air intake or an exhaust, it'll run 10 times more better. And there's a lot more room to flexible to tuning it. So we'll see how that goes. Oh my gosh, man, I want to take this for a spin so bad. Okay, guys, I got you mounted to my chest. So let's take this thing for a spin and see how it does. Alright guys, so we're back. It's the next day. Sorry for the noise, the washer's going. But we had to stop the video because the bike had some issues while I was riding. I had to pull over and assess it. And I think I figured out what it could have been because there's also more problems besides where it was. So let's go over to the bike and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so we had to take the motor out, and I'm gonna explain to you why I had to take it out. So let me get my light on. Okay, so the reason why we had to the first issue we had was the flywheel started spinning because the bolt. Sorry, the light's kind of trying to get the light to hold. Okay, so we had to take off the flywheel came off because this bolt was loosened. I tightened it up with my electric impact, but I didn't have a long enough socket, so I tightened it as best I could, but it wasn't tight enough. So when we rode it, it vibrated itself loose enough to come off, and then when we finally got to the end, it just started free spinning. I thought the chain was broke, but it wasn't the chain broke. When I finally got this cover off, this was loose and it wasn't sitting in the gear, so it was just free spinning. So it wouldn't allow the motor to turn over. So that was one issue. So I got that fixed and taken care of, got it all back together, and then good to go start it. And then we had some other issues. So what happened was, I think in the free spinning of this, and it threw the timing off of everything. So when I'm at top dead center, the markings aren't at top dead center. And then this marking up here is not at top dead center. The valves are tight. Everything has just gotten all out of whack. So what I'm going to probably have to do is I'm going to have to take everything apart. Not everything, but not like split the motor, nothing like that. But to get this flywheel off, get this off, maybe even get that off, and just get everything synced back. And then put everything back together, and it should work. Now, if this doesn't work, if I've tried this whole entire 300 thing and something's just not allowing it to work, we're going to go back to a 250. We're just going to go back to 250 and call ourselves defeated, and it just didn't work. And that's fine. It's something that I was trying to do. It's just a project. I wanted to see if I could get it done and see if it would give me more power. I believe there is something there to make it work, but I don't know for sure. So this is all a test of project kind of thing. So if it ends up just not working out, we'll go back to the 250 and we'll just deal with it being a 250 instead of a 300, and then just call ourselves defeated. I'm not mad about that. This is how projects work. You try something, it doesn't work. Okay, you either try to fix the problem and it fixes, or you call yourself defeated and deal with what you have, and that's why most people will, call a loss and then just sell it and get something a little bit more better. So we may do that. I feel like maybe just go to something a little bit more bigger, but we're going to try this. We're not going to give up just yet. This is not my personal vehicle, so I have all the time in the world to tinker with it. So we're going to give this one more final go. I'm going to redo this whole entire thing. Make sure this flywheel is nice and tight. Everything is nice and tight. Everything's in time. Everything is good. Get it back in the bike. Get it started back up. Hopefully everything runs fine, and then we should be good. Because if this flywheel hadn't came out, I guarantee you everything would have been fine. That's the only thing that throws me off of that, why it's not. So I want to make sure that the reason I want to take this all apart, because I want to make sure that crank is cranking right. Hopefully we didn't bend anything or hurt anything. And then we'll put it all back together, and then we'll go from there. So right now I'm going to go ahead and tear this apart, and then we will come back when we get to a kind of a good midpoint. Okay guys, so we are back. I finally got the key. I figured out what it is. So if you look right, get the light back on it. If you look right here, there used to be a keyway in there. It broke. So I think what happened was when this flywheel was spinning, it broke the keyway. So I finally got it tapped out. Don't know where it went, but that was something we'll have to look later. I can't see where it went on the floor, but we got it out. So now we need the keyway. I thought I could do without the keyway, but the keyway keeps this flywheel locked in place when you tighten it down. So it keeps everything good. I think everything is fine here. it's actually top dead center, as you can see. The piston's top dead, well, it's moved down a little bit, but that's because I kept messing with it. But it's at top dead center, well, close to top dead center, and it's in the right position. So when I put this back on, it's actually on the money. When I checked it earlier, it moved down a little bit, but we can get that repositioned back. And then once we put that in the keyway, it should be good. Now, I was going to leave this broken piece in there because it was holding, but I'm worried that if it ever happens to spin, it can actually spin without that keyway. So we need to get a new keyway. So yeah, so I'm reaching out to a good friend of mine. I've been dealing some work with. His name is Nate. He's the guy that I got the piston from, the valves from, everything. He's actually looking in for me because the problem is that these keyways actually come with the crank. So there's really no size. It just comes with it. You know, it comes with the keyway comes with it. You don't have to take a guess. It just comes with it. You use it and you're done. But the problem is it broke. So I don't know what size, and I can't take the crank out just to take it to the shop to get the right keyway. So I'm hoping that he can help me get the right size, because I can get the right size, that'll make my life a whole lot easier. I don't have the old one because the old one was bent and broken. I was never going to use it, so I threw it away. That had a keyway on it, which I didn't realize at the time I was going to need. So, and I didn't know the flywheel was going to break off. So that's kind of that no end kind of thing. So, so basically, we're going to have to order another keyway to get this all to work. Now, I've been thinking about this. If we can get this all back together and working properly, because really it was running fine until the flywheel started spinning and broke the keyway, and then it starts free spinning. I think that's okay. We can get that taken care of. I really don't want to have to buy a brand new crank just for a little keyway. I'll do my best with what it is, or we'll just have to just roll with what we got. Other option would be if that actually doesn't work and we can't find the right keyway, I'll have to replace the crank. I don't want to do that because it's a perfectly good crank. It just needs a keyway. So if any of you guys know the size of the keyway on there, that would be great. I know it's really tricky because we don't really know. It's a 250 crank. So we don't really know the size. But my thing is that once we get this running, hopefully everything will be good. Okay, guys, so it's like the next couple of days, but we finally got the motor back together. We got everything good. So I'm going to explain what happened and why I did not show you guys the video of me redoing it. So let's go to the bike. I'll show it to you. Okay, so we got the motor back in. As you saw, it was over here in the last piece, but it's back in. We got it all back together. So what pretty much happened was the flywheel free spun because of it not being tightened down by me, that bad judgment call. But it also, not only did it free spin, it actually broke the keyway on the crank. So there's a little metal keyway that goes in, and I'll show it to you over here. You can see what they look like. So these are keyways, little half moon. Sometimes they're half moon, sometimes they're like little bars. But these are the keyways, crank keyways. So I grabbed one of those from AutoZone, tried it. It didn't fit. It was too big. So I took my little mini drill over there, or saw, and I cut it enough to fit, and it actually worked. It actually fit. I got it trimmed down enough to where it actually fit in, and the keyway actually fell in and locked in place. So hopefully it'll hold. But I do got some more keyways ordered on the way. Just because I want to make sure that I get everything, working right. So not only that, so after I got that, I can go ahead and start putting everything back together. I got everything all lined up. Everything's top dead center. Everything's looking good. I even relashed the valves because the actual exhaust valve was actually had no play. It was actually closed more than it was open, and when it was at top dead center and it wasn't being moved, it didn't have no play at all. So somehow it had lashed itself kind of closed. So we took care of that. So hopefully we'll have some better compression, everything like that. Hopefully the pistons are good. If not, we'll be starting this all over again. Everything looked good, so I didn't take the pistons out because they looked like they were okay. So we did that. If this setup does not work, I'm going to go back to a 250. Just because I can't find the rings for this 300. I have some 300 rings, but they're for a GT or Joymax 300, and apparently the Joymax 300's rings are 75 millimeters instead of 73. They're 75, so they might be the reason why they don't fit the last time. So I can't find any more rings unless I could, try to put it all together. But if this doesn't work and it still has no compression due to the rings, then we will go back to the 250 and just leave it at that. That means I just can't, unless the only other option is I would have to get a whole new Joymax 300, can of piston set. I think the valves might be okay, but the piston housing and stuff, I would have to get a whole new set just to get some new rings. So hopefully it's not a compression issue with the rings. But the most part was more timing and the flywheel and everything. But we got it all back together and everything. And then one of the culprits I was having was the starting problem. So I was starting and it sounded like it would start but then hesitate, and then start, then hesitate. It was due to this. The starter's dead. So I even tried clicking it and it won't turn over. It's stuck. Whatever it is stuck. And this is the original starter that came with the bike when I first got it. So out of everything that's been replaced, this is the last thing that has not been placed. Except for the stuff with the fuel and up in the front and in the back. But yeah, this has not been replaced as far as part of the motor. This is the only thing that's not been replaced. Everything else has been replaced. All the internals, everything except for the flywheel. That's OEM with it. But yeah, this is the only one that has not been replaced. So we'll have to order that. That's just causing us to do a stop halt because I can't start the bike without it. So we're gonna go ahead and stop here. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and stop because I have to order it. I have to get it from either from Amazon or eBay, whoever has it that can get it to me the quickest. But right now it's looking like it's gonna take a little while. So yeah, we're at a standstill. But we got the bike all together, fluids in there, oil is in there. I'll have to top up some more oil and top up some more coolant, but I want to get the thing to turn over. So if it doesn't turn over and it's still doing like it was doing before, or the keyway breaks or something like that, then we're back to square one. Now, if the keyway breaks, it's not the end of the world. We just have to get a new key that'll fit. Now, the only other option is that if the kit that I get from Amazon does not fit in the keyway, none of the keyways fit, then the only other option to make this perfectly 100% to fit is I would have to buy a whole new crank with the keyway already with it. So I'm just going to just buy the new, if I have to do that, I will buy a new crank, take the keyway out and stick it in this one because there's nothing wrong with this crank. It's just missing a keyway. So, yeah, so that's what we'll probably do. If it comes down to it, hopefully it will not, hopefully this will hold, or I can at least let this hold enough to get the keyway from Amazon and one of those keyways will fit and then we'll be golden. But if not, then we'll have to go that route and that would kind of suck. But luckily it's not too expensive, but it's still worthless to buy a brand new crank just to take the key. So we'll see how that goes. But guys, thank you so much. Sorry this video has been kind of choppy and I didn't show you everything. Really and honestly, I didn't know how it was going to turn out and I didn't know which way I was going to go. I literally had to stop, collect my thoughts, think what I needed to do, and then do it. And it required me not to do it on the camera because I didn't know what was going to happen. I was at a stop, go, research, stop, go, research. And it was just too much back and forthness to do a video on it. It was just better to just let me figure it out, let me get it fixed, and then let me explain it. So I do apologize for not showing it to you, but it's kind of like taking the motor apart anyway. So you could go back to some of my other videos when I first started doing it and kind of see the same thing. So that was the other thing, is that I'm taking it apart, putting it back together, taking it apart, putting it back together. Because if it doesn't work, then I have to take it back apart to figure out why it doesn't work, then put it back together, then start it. It doesn't work, taking it back apart. So it was just back and forth, and I did not want to bore you guys with that. And that would have made the video, making the video and adding it super long. So it just was not worth it until I could figure out what it is. So we're at a standstill. But that's pretty much it, guys. I really, truly do appreciate it, and I hope you guys appreciate these videos. For the ones who have an SYM, hopefully this works out for you guys. I'm definitely in no man's territory, paving the way for anybody else that has one of these, because truly, honestly, there's no really good videos out here for this bike. Most of them are overseas and they're not very good detail. There's more like of someone watching someone take something apart and put it back together. There's no explanation, no nothing. So I really truly am appreciating that you guys liking these videos for the ones who have it. And if you don't, appreciate you liking the videos anyway. It gives me support and I love it and I thank you guys for it. But guys, with all being said, you guys have a good Memorial Day weekend that's coming up soon. And I'm going to see you guys on next fix. Until then, peace.